How are you doing today?
Very, very good. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm Bella. I'm Bella, and I'm 8 years old.
I'm Jameson, and I'm 11 years old.
I'm Isaiah, and I'm 10 years old.
And I'm Paul Feiner, and I'm 63 years old.
You are?
Yep.
That's nice.
And I don't have any here.
Okay, I have some questions for you. Okay, the first question for you, Mr. Feiner, is how do you feel about Xposure?
I love the Xposure program. And one of the reasons I love the program is I've seen people who have graduated from Xposure in the past, and they're so smart and so successful. And I feel that anyone who goes to Xposure, when they graduate high school and college, they will have opportunities that so many other students won't have. So you are almost like guaranteed a successful life. Very successful in business and your profession, whatever you choose. They really give you the tools for success.
That's great.
Okay.
Next question for you, Mr. Feiner, is what term is this for you as town supervisor?
Okay, I've already been in office. This is my 14th term, and it's been 28 years. Every 2 years I have to run for office, and I've been in this job for 28 years, which is long before you were even born, right?
Yeah. That's
I bet you your
That's a
parents,
long
some of your parents might not be as old as that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The next question for you, Mr. Feiner, is what are some challenges that you have had as your constituents?
Well, there's a lot of challenges. We have budgets. We have to try keeping the taxes as low as possible. People are also concerned about recreation. For example, does any of you play on playgrounds?
Yes.
Do you like playgrounds?
Yes.
So we have to approve playgrounds. Do you go to the Theater Young Community Center?
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yes.
So we have to fund the Theater Young Community Center. Anybody use the indoor pool there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You
In the
use
summer
it?
a lot.
So we have to decide whether or not we're going to keep the Theater Young Community Center operational and keep the pool and the hours, because it's open a lot during the day. Have you ever gone to the Nature Center, the Greenberg Nature Center?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you like that?
Yes.
And you play with animals?
Yeah.
So we've helped the Nature Center out. That's a challenge. And when you're driving around the town, do you ever go over a pothole with your parents when they drive?
Yeah, my dad says sometimes, oh, a pothole.
Right, so we are responsible for repaving roads, but some of the roads in the town are not owned by the town, they're owned by the state. Like Duff's Ferry Road, there's a lot of potholes there, and that's a state road. So we don't have any control over it, so we have to encourage people, we have to encourage the state to repave the road. We also have to make sure that we have crews working, so when it snows, the roads are plowed. Because you don't want to drive on when there's 6 inches of snow, on the ground. So those are just a few responses, but it's definitely challenging.
Thank you. And the last question for you, Mr. Feiner, is how are you different today than when you first became town supervisor in 1991?
Well, I've learned a lot. One of the best things, someone once told me, the best way of learning is to make mistakes. So I made, different mistakes. I've learned a lot. I understand government, better. So I think that I'm a better town supervisor. I understand how to get federal grants or state grants much better. I have more contacts with different public officials. I've also learned that sometimes when I started, I wanted everything my way. Now I have more give and take, and I listen to people. So just because I came up with an idea, if you don't like it, I should listen, reflect on your suggestions, and then rethink whether or not it makes sense what I was originally going to propose.
Thank you, Mr. Feiner.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Feiner, and I have a few questions for you also.
That's great.
The election's coming up, and do you think Why do you think people should vote for you?
I think I've done a really good job. I'm not jaded. I find it very exciting. I've come up with a lot of good new ideas. For example, we're right now looking at having a food recycling program in the town. In your school, do they compost food waste?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went on trips sometimes too.
Yeah. So what we're doing is we're going to do curbside, food recycling. We're approving affordable housing. So not only the wealthy should have a good place to live, but people who are lower income. I have a job club for people who are out of work. We really try going overboard to make the town responsive to people's complaints.
So that's a good reason.
Thank you.
And have another question.
Okay.
You ran for U.S. Congress twice already. Have you ever thought about running again?
That's you must be a good researcher. I could see. When I ran for Congress, it was in 1998 and 2000 against Ben Gilman, who was a congressman. Right now, our congressperson is Nita Lowey, who has been, she's like very, very powerful. She's the head of the Appropriations Committee in Washington. So she controls the dollar amount. So if she would ever step down, then I would think about it. But it's very, very expensive to run for these offices. Guess how much I'm going to give you, ask you a question now. How much do you think it costs to run for Congress?
That costs money.
Yeah, how much would you, like, let's say you wanted to run money?
$1 million.
Okay, what do you say?
Like 10,000.
10,000 for
5,000
Congress?
actually.
And what do you say?
1 billion.
1 billion. So the winner is more than a year. It used to be $1 million, but now it could be as much as, couple million, or even could be 5 million, 10 million, or whatever. But it's very, very expensive. And it's very, very hard to raise funds. We have an ethics law in the town. In most communities, when people are in office, and let's say there's a developer who wants to build, people who want something from the town are the ones who donate to the candidates. And you think, oh, they're giving to you because they like you, but they're giving to you because they want something in return. And we have an ethics law that people like myself are not allowed to take money from developers, contractors, consultants, employees, which limits our ability of raising funds because people want favorable treatment from the town. They can't give to our campaigns. Every other community, most politicians get money from people who want something in return. So it's much harder for somebody like myself to raise money than a typical politician.
Okay, I get it. So this is my last question. I know you had to do a lot with TDYCC's second floor. Are you proud of anything else?
At the TDYC?
That you have done in your career of being town supervisor?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Well, I'm definitely proud of the Xposure program. I am, proud of more open space. When I first took office, there were 200 acres of parkland, and now there's over 600 acres of parkland. We built a lot of affordable housing all over the town. I'm proud of that. I'm also proud of the fact that we have a really great internship program. We've worked with students, and we've had students get involved in government and be exposed to aspects of government. Proud of this Xposure program, just having this cable TV program where you may become world famous TV stars one day. And you could say you got your, I could say, do you want to be like a newscaster or an actress?
I wanna be, like, when I grow up, I wanna be a fashion designer.
Right,
Yeah, I want to be an actor or
maybe in TV.
A professional athlete.
And you?
Yeah, I want to be an NBA star.
Right. So I'm proud that we have an Xposure program that is helping you reach your ambitions and dreams. And you may change your mind. You may become a TV news reporter. You never know. And maybe you'll one day say, "Gosh, I got my start from the Xposure Greenberg, program." Or you may love, basketball and sports, and maybe you're participating in our recreation programs. these are things that I'm proud of because we're giving young people like yourself an opportunity to learn and to participate in a lot of fun things.
Okay.
But there's so many things that I'm proud of. I also am proud of the fact that we listen to people and we're accessible, and I return phone calls, and I feel that many of the town employees do this, and department heads, they'll call people back at midnight, at 11 o'clock at night. We even make house calls, so if you have a problem, we'll go to you rather than you go to us. And I think we're sort of unique because a lot of people in government, they don't listen or reach out to young people like yourself, and we do. Your voice carries a lot of weight. If you have comments, suggestions, what can we do to make Greenberg a better place for you? We'll listen.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it?
No. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
You were only 16 when you were fighting for quality of life improvements, and as chair of Teen Democrats, you have persuaded the county of Westchester to open the Bronx River Parkway for Sunday bike riders.
That's right.
This year is going to be the 45th anniversary. That's amazing.
It's really exciting
a good
because do you like bicycle riding?
Yes.
I used to do it when I was young.
This summer, I did.
And you know what? It's really interesting. Guess how I got when I was, lobbying for Bikeways in the county. I called legislators. I wrote letters to the editors. I organized petitions. I had rallies, picketing the county. And guess how I got the Bikeways built?
How?
This is funny, but don't laugh too much. They thought I was a big pain in the neck. Do you ever, like with your parents, sometimes they say, "Oh, you're such a pain. You're like you're a nag." So that's the way I was. So I was nagging, and then they made me sign a piece of paper saying I won't show up for 6 months, and then they approved the bikeway. So
That's
it was
crazy.
the only deal I made. Yeah, on my honor, it's true. I was lobbying and calling them, and I was really bothering them because when you want something, especially in government, you have to be persistent. You can't take no for an answer. You have to keep trying and trying and trying. And I was very persistent, and we got it. Then the former county executive, Al Del Bello, he appointed me to his bikeway committee, and I recommended that they close the Bronx River Parkway for bicyclists on Sunday. I can't believe he said it's already 45 years. It's 45 years and still very, very popular. So, I'm really proud. We built the first, I was involved in the first bikeway in Westchester. Now there's bikeways all over. In fact, the new bridge that used to be the Tappan Zee Bridge, the Maricopa Bridge, will have a bikeway, so you'll be able to bike from here all the way to Rockland County.
That would be cool.
That's
It will be
You
fun.
could walk and everything too.
You can walk too. It's going to be really fun. Maybe I'll see you on the bike.
Whenever I go on some bridges, I always like, I see some people walk, but there's no walkway. I was like, what? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, so this is going to be it should be open within a few months. So I'll probably see you. You could stop and we'll chat in the middle of the bridge if you see me.
Okay.
Okay. What made you want to be a politician at such an early age?
I always wanted to help people, and I really get satisfaction feeling that I'm making a difference in people's lives. Making people smile, easing some of their stresses. Everybody sometimes is aggravated or nervous about something, so I wanted to make life better for other people.
Okay. What tools does a new leader need to serve the community?
Oh, you mean how the tools?
Yeah.
I think they should just be a good listener, and do your homework, and recognize that you may not always be right or wrong, and read the materials if you're going to be like a public official and you have to vote on things. You have to really know what you're voting for and understand the ramifications, because there's pluses and minuses to, you know, everything. And you shouldn't also like prejudge. You know, just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean that they are a bad person. You have to recognize that everyone who even criticizes what you're doing, there may be some truth, and be willing to change.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Mr. Feiner.
And thank you very much for interviewing me. These were really good questions, and you know, I'm going to be following all your careers with the greatest of interest, and I hope one day all of you, or at least some of you, become very, very successful and happy and exceed all your dreams. You know, you don't settle for just being average. You're already, by being part of the Xposure program and being selected for, you know, the cable TV programs, you're already among the brightest young people in the town. So you should really be proud of yourself, and you know, you really have great careers ahead of yourself.
Thank
and
you.
great lives.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck on your election.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.